This is Scented. He was Fortnite's best player, and he even joined FaZe. But his story wasn't without controversy. And I even got to interview him on things no one knows about.
I don't even think I've talked about this, bro. People don't know that.
So this is the entire story of Scented, which would begin way back on November 9th of 2001, when Evan Barron, who we all know as Scented, was born. Now, Scented grew up in Calgary, Canada, and he would play tons of hockey as a child, getting on the ice at around the age of 2. But throughout his time playing hockey, he suffered 4 concussions, which was enough for him to finally decide to put down the hockey stick. But he still really wanted to play sports, so he would decide to pick up rugby and wrestling throughout high school, possibly the only 2 sports that were rougher than hockey, which is quite funny. Anyways, it turned out Scented was quite talented in wrestling, placing quite highly in his province in year 10 of high school. And during his entire childhood, he'd played a bit of Minecraft here and there, but he never really got too invested in gaming until one day in year 11, Scented saw his older brother playing a game he had never seen called Fortnite. Scented decided to try it out, and he ended up really enjoying it. So he would begin to play it on his laptop, and sometimes he would even head home from school during his free periods to play. And he liked the game so much that he even wanted to buy a PC so he could play, but he didn't have the money. So Scented would go and get a job at a local gas station in order to buy his first PC. From there, he would play Fortnite a ton, playing with lots of friends from his school and also meeting some buddies online. Now, Scented would join a couple Discord servers that had other players with similar KDs at the time, and one of his closest friends would actually end up being Turtle Tavern, who eventually became a very well-known pro in Fortnite. Anyways, Scented and Turtle one day accidentally did something that would basically change their lives forever, and this is that story straight from Scented.
Way back in the day while we were playing Fortnite, we were just playing pubs, and we queued a pub game, but it was the top lobby of the pro scrim.
That was when they would randomly snipe the queues, right?
Yeah,
like there weren't custom. Oh, so you got in lucky.
And it was like people like
on
Tifu,
accident.
Cloaksy, everyone like that, and we were literally playing pubs, and we won that game. That's kind of where it all literally started.
Now, because of them winning that game, they were instantly recognized by many players in the pro scene at the time. And as competitive Fortnite grew, eventually the World Cup rolled around, and Scented and Edgy had developed quite the friend group of well-known pros such as Epic Whale, Rex, Arkham, and Edgy, and this friend group would be known as High IQ. But this group wouldn't just be online friends.
And we even did some IRL stuff together. We went to Epic's cabin in the summer and stuff like that.
And they would also meet up on other occasions too. But anyways, Fortnite World Cup was happening during this time, and Scented along with his friends would absolutely take over the NA West region, which was especially impressive for Scented because he was playing on 40 ping, living in Calgary connecting to the LA servers. But he still managed to place 3rd in a week of solos, just barely missing out on the qualification. Now, Scented still had a shot at New York in duos, because Scented would duo up with Edgy, and they would place 3rd in week 8 of duos, again just barely missing out on qualifying to New York through a devastating sequence of events.
I genuinely got a little unlucky. I got 1 spot off in solos, 3rd in duos, and like after every game of World Cup, we were 1st the whole time. We checked our leaderboard first, and we queued into our last game, and we wore like infamous soccer skins on West. We were really good in every scrim. And I don't know if that's what made these people chase us, but we got chased around for 8 minutes in our final game of World Cup, and we were in 1st going into that. We just needed, I think it was 11 points. But yeah, I remember going live after that, and literally every pro was in my stream. I had 500 viewers at the time. I'd never seen 500 viewers in my life. Edgy was crying. I was raging. It was actually insane.
So following Scented being so close to qualifying to the World Cup, he decided to grind harder than ever. And it would pay off in Season X when Scented and Edgy would decide to pick up Rex as their 3rd for Trio FNCS. The team would go on to do nothing short of absolutely dominating and taking over NA West. Now, just to put it into perspective of how good this team was, they won 8 out of the 12 tournaments that season, and the only 4 tournaments they didn't win, they would play 2nd. Now, this type of dominance, although it was on West, which was a much smaller region, is still highly comparable to Mongo, Mitro, and Benji's dominance over in Europe during the same season. It was during this season that the High IQ friend group totally took over NA West, and they proved they ran the region. And they would continue to do so heading into Chapter 2, because Scented, Edgy, and Rex would pick up Epic Whale as their 4th teammate. And this squad would go on to win multiple weeks of Squad FNCS, ultimately placing 3rd in FNCS Grand Finals. Now, from here, with ambitious goals, Scented and Edgy would make a massive decision to move from NA West to NA East, a much bigger and more challenging region.
We knew that we were like really good compared to everyone on the East Coast. We played Season X and we won everything. But one of my main factors for moving East was just so that I didn't have to play 50 ping. So we made the decision like a week before and we were like, let's just go. Because bigger prize pool, bigger everything.
So now that Scented was over on East, he really had to prove himself, and he would get his name out there as a viable player, but nothing more, because in his first season on NA East, he and Edgy would place 9th in duo FNCS Grand Finals, which was a good placement by all means, but it definitely was not what he wanted. And next up was a solo FNCS. And to be honest, not many pros really took it too seriously, with Scented being included in this, and he really wouldn't get the best placement. But he largely used his season to practice every day with his new trio, which was him, Edgy, and Commandment. Now, at first, they wouldn't do the absolute best, but they definitely were doing fine, and they slowly improved over time, building chemistry and confidence together. So when Season 4 was announced and released, along with Trio FNCS, they were ready. And all their preparations would pay off as they'd managed to win multiple weeks of qualifiers and qualify to Grand Finals, where Scented once again had a chance to prove just how talented he was alongside his team.
Getting it, bro? I don't know. Did you get it?
I don't know.
He's impulsing in.
No!
Let's go!
31! Nice try! That's so
Let's go, Commandment! You're insane!
Watch out, the right wall.
No.
In.
On that wall.
Dead one!
I fell all the way down. Pull up. 1 HP. 31. Nice.
Did you finish this?
On your wall.
No! Going down.
I died, dude. I died.
Nice! 1v1.
You could win. You gotta edit up and try to one pump, dude.
No! Nice try, nice.
So Scented and his team managed to land themselves in second place right behind Mero, Day, and Reverse UK, whose dominance is a story for another day. But regardless, Scented had just gone from West, a somewhat small irrelevant region, to the top of NA East, one of Fortnite's hardest regions. Now, this major placement in Scented's career was quite special, as it was his first real breakthrough.
I remember getting second, and I don't think we had a chance of winning, so I was ecstatic with second. Super happy with second, like no reason to complain. I just remember like after every grands, bro, you're so exhausted. I would just sit on my PC for 2-3 hours just AFK, not even in call.
Now, after this great placement, he was of course regarded as quite a good player, and him and his team of Edgy and Commandment would stick together heading into Season 5 of Chapter 2. They would continue to grind and stay locked in, winning many more tournaments that season, leading up until that Grand Finals. And just a few days before Grands, Scented would announce that he had joined FaZe Clan, one of the most prestigious gaming organizations of all time. And this would be perfect timing to join FaZe because, once again, Scented would place second in Grand Finals. And this had all happened through Scented's IGLing and play calling. So Scented was credited largely for these two grand placements. And at this point, it seemed like for sure Scented had to be coming up on a win, since he had just gotten so close twice now. So heading into Season 6, once again with Edgy and Commandment, Scented would place well in many tournaments leading up to Grands. And in Grands, they would put on a show. With their Grand Finals win on the line, it would come down to one single moment.
Sense and Edgy have never lost an event when in first going into the final game. And they're pushing into a 3v3v3. But Commandment, Sense, and Edgy have their FNCS on the line and they are taking the fight. This is so scary. Keep your eyes on the bottom left. If Commandment or Edgy get tagged here, it is going to be disastrous. Commandment gets hit. Oh no! Sense gets down. No! This is the FNCS right here. Sense goes down. Commandment is on 32 health. Everything is on the line. This was such an uncharacteristic push. I don't think Scented knew there was another trio here. I've got information that it looks like Scented got taken out by a headshot bow and finished. Commandment and Edgy have to do it as a duo. The storyline is told when Scented and Edgy go into the final game in first, they don't lose. But right now, Scented is out. It's on Edgy and Commandment.
And as you probably assumed, this exact moment and this exact death was totally devastating to Scented.
we were gonna win the fight 1,000,000,000% we were about to win the fight. And C, Scoped, and Tragics were hiding in the building while we were fighting, and I got jumped on. But like that's kind of like the one where I was like, wow, we really had a chance to win this one. And like realistically, in hindsight, you don't push them, but I was like, go big or go home. We're down a few points. We might as well bang it out, get some surge off spawn, have a dead side rotate. And we made our way back up in that game. And Jack, Acorn, and Slacks, Jack was sitting on Boney, I believe it was a Boney tower, and he just headshot bowed me, and it was kind of over.
Now, even though Scented didn't win this grand finals, he still got second, and he would still go on to place second in the following FNCS grand finals too. But the true significance in this one FNCS in Season 6 was the fact that Scented truly was going to win this FNCS, unlike all the others. So losing that FNCS, making that one play, really took away from his closest shot at getting an FNCS win, because in the following season, Scented and Edgy would decide to split ways, so Scented and Commandment would pick up Stretch, and they would place 4th in their first FNCS together, then placing 6th in Grand Royale FNCS. Now, after getting 4 FNCS Grand Finals second places along with numerous other top 10s, he was most definitely regarded as the best IGL to touch the game, possibly of all time, but definitely during Chapter 2 of Fortnite. But the fact that he never really won really allowed for some funny jokes.
You guys might not know who Scented is, the player that we have on today, because he's not really, he's not a winner.
Oh yeah. Just a second placer, you know what I mean?
I didn't even know he was in my stream, and chat was asking me one day, and they're like, yo, who do you think's taking it? And I was like, dude, you want to be honest? I think Scented's sick of second place. And he was watching, he said, yo, he was like, yo, appreciate that. And then he got second. So
okay.
Anyways, heading into Chapter 3, Duos FNCS was announced to be the competitive game mode for the foreseeable future, and it made sense for Scented and Edgy to play together once again, but that would never end up happening, and instead Scented would play with a new, very underrated player that went by the name of Cold. And little did we know at the time, Cold would soon be considered one of the best players in the game, largely because of what he had learned from Scented. Cold would learn everything Scented knew as they would play together and place 5th in their first FNCS together in Chapter 3. Many people quickly started to realize just how good of a player Cold was heading into the next season, and he would have his major breakthrough with Scented placing, you guessed it, second place yet again in FNCS Grand Finals. Now, this was Scented's 5th second place if you weren't keeping count, and despite him never winning an FNCS, another second place was a great feeling, and it seemed like things were going great for Scented, as he had just jumped right back into stride with Cold as his new duo. But things would change for the absolute worst, because on June 3rd of 2022, just 4 days after Scented's second place, a clip would be released all over Twitter of Scented saying a slur. Now, of course, this was a terrible look for him and all the brands he was working with, and it just so happened to be that most of these brand deals and sponsorships came through FaZe. So it's a no-brainer that these brands would be unhappy, and they didn't want to be associated with someone who's framed as potentially racist online, even though only one clip had ever been shown. Now, that's all the public knew about this case, but it turns out there was much more behind the scenes that no one ever really knew about. So I'll let Scented explain how the whole situation went down and what followed. And I'll also be keeping this portion of the interview rather raw and uncut. When you and FaZe split ways, how was everything handled and managed, like, behind the scenes?
Okay, bro. So I said that on Hellfire stream 7 months before it got released, or 6 months before it got released.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, bro. People don't know that. I said that on Hellfire stream 6 months before it got released. So it's not like I said it one day, and like I didn't message my manager or anything. I was like, hey, you know what? If I get exposed, I get exposed. Like, I mean, I didn't really think like that in the moment. I was kind of freaking balls because you know that's like the whole BLM era, like crazy, you know, people were supporting it like crazy. Yeah. I mean, obviously you don't want to use that word anyway. I agree. But so basically when I said it, I was freaking my off. And wow, this brings me back down a dark path, genuinely. But I mean, I deserve it, I guess, for saying it. Wow, I can't even think. 1 sec, bro. Jesus Christ. Okay. All right, so we got that covered. Basically, like, I saw the clip on Twitter. And it was some random account that posted it under, like, this is when I was conning mid-map. And it was some random account that posted it. I was mid-cash cup, actually, when it got posted. And I remember we were all freaking out, bro. We were all in call. Like, this is, like, it was during a duo cash cup finals. Me and Cold were playing. Oh, wow. All right. And so basically, I was freaking the fuck out. I remember I called someone. They came over. They were like just to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
Cause like you kind of know what you're in for after. And I messaged my manager. I was like, you guys can drop me if you want. Like it's all good. No hard feelings at all. And wow. Yeah. So I messaged him. We got in a call. I was like, so am I getting dropped? He's like, yeah, you're getting dropped. And then basically they just cooked up a tweet. Like, I made my own apology. Like, I cared. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. If my words offend you, I'm sorry. But like, FaZe told me to tweet something. I tweeted it because that's kind of how PR teams work. And but yeah, I got in a call. He basically, I was like, you can drop me if you want. I was bawling my eyes out for, I don't know, probably 6 hours straight that day. Like, actually just bawling my eyes out nonstop. Wow, bro. Oh, god damn. And then I talked to some higher ups at FaZe, and basically they just released me immediately, told me to make a tweet about mutually parting ways, which, I mean, I did. I kind of got a lot of hate for it.
Yeah, I remember that.
But like, people were like, why was it mutually parting ways? You know, and they were like, no, you got kicked, you're racist, and like that. So obviously it wasn't mutually parting ways. They just told me to tweet that, so like, I don't want to be disrespectful, and the last thing I want to do is hurt their brand if I'm already cooking my own. But yeah, that's kind of what happened behind the scenes, bro. And then
damn,
that's pretty much it, bro. My manager messaged me after my quitting tweet, my old FaZe manager, because I kind of got close to him a little bit. I never got to see him IRL because I was always grinding Fortnite and stuff like that, but he was a really really great dude. Like Seabass, I know Seabass gets a lot of the hate for like from Banks and Rain and stuff like that, but he was nothing but awesome on the org and treated me absolutely amazing. And yeah, that's kind of what went down behind the scenes.
So yeah, Scented basically lost everything in an instant, but his coach Sven told him to keep grinding Fortnite despite the circumstances around him so he could still help out and show up for his teammate Cold. And Scented would, heading into Season 3 of Chapter 3. Now, this season, they basically claimed the best drop spot on the map and had set up a whole game plan that honestly made it look like they would win that FNCS. But because of Scented's situation, some people in the Fortnite community decided to mess with him. But there were levels to it. For example, Bucky would make jokes and basically mess with Scented all the time on stream, which wasn't very deep because it was mainly for content. But some other pros by the names of Aviv and Donnie decided to take things a little too far. Now, for context, Scented and Cold pretty much had their drop spot uncontested and locked down to themselves. Or so they thought. Because Aviv and Donnie decided to change their names in Fortnite to poke fun at Scented, and they went on to even land on Scented in Grand Finals, totally griefing Scented and Cold's tournament, resulting in them placing 25th when they easily could have won that finals. Now, despite this major setback, Scented and Cold would still continue to grind for the upcoming invitational event that would take place in person in Raleigh, North Carolina. And heading into the event in mid-November of 2022, some predicted them to place well, while many kinda counted Scented and Cold out. But Scented would prove everyone wrong, managing to place 3rd in the first official Fortnite LAN event since the World Cup, despite all the adversity he'd been dealing with in the past few months. Though through all his grinding, he was still struggling with the effects of the FaZe incident months earlier. Anyways, eventually NA West and NA East would merge to form NA Central, which was where all the future Fortnite tournaments would be played. And for the first FNCS of the new servers, Scented would actually end up teaming up with Clix. Now, this duo would manage to place decently well, but then disaster would strike when Clix, Fortnite's biggest streamer, would get banned. Now, he basically got banned for teaming with one of his viewers in a solo cash cup, and the situation didn't really seem that serious until he realized he could potentially be banned for the next 2 FNCSs. Anyways, Scented would be left alone with only 1 week of qualifiers left to make it into Grand Finals, and he would end up teaming up with FaZe, who was an old West pro. Now, the two would have a good run, but they would just barely miss out on qualifying to finals. Anyways, from here, Scented started to not take competitive Fortnite as seriously, just messing around and duoing up with Polarized, never really doing anything overly notable. But then in mid-August of 2023, Scented would announce that he was joining Agent Gaming. Now, this announcement was quite surprising because of Scented's past, but Agent still took a chance on him despite him being a potential brand risk. Then in November, with the OG Fortnite return, Scented would stream daily for a few weeks and then go quiet for a bit until late December, where he would post his first vlog, which was something totally new to him. Now, this vlog would receive lots of positive feedback, and Scented would continue to create vlogs every other week or so, slowly rebuilding his public brand back up. But things would pick up the pace when all of Agent's top players were invited to live at the new Agent House. Now, in the past, many teams have tried to put all their players together in one house, but no one never really fully succeeded besides FaZe Clan. But despite this, Agent would still give it a try, bringing Bucky, Peterbot, Ocus, Pilot, the owner of Agent, Rad, Derek, Mega, and of course, Scented. Now, at first, it seemed like this would just be a retirement home for all these old Fortnite pros, but Peterbot really managed to show up big time and win FNCS. So you could say Peterbot was covering the competitive side of things for Agent, but Scented of course wasn't as dedicated to competing anymore. So along with the other Agent boys, they really stepped up and managed to fully take over the Fortnite content scene. And lots of this came from Scented, really being the first person to get creative with his content. And at first in the Agent house, Scented was the only one doing YouTube vlogs. And now the whole house is doing them. Scented's content has also seen significant growth since being in the Agent house around the other guys, and it seems like a really great environment for everyone.
So I wasn't gonna stream in the house, bro. I was gonna do vlogs and stuff like that. But Bucky and Rad, they really pushed me to stream, bro. Bucky's really nice. He gives me a lot of compliments, man. He like gasses me up sometimes when it's just me, him, and Rad talking. He's like, "You're a great looking dude. You need to put your face out there. You're funny as hell. You're talented." Like he'll gas me up for no reason, bro. And he's like, "You got to start streaming, man. You got to take this opportunity to grow." So like, he's one of the biggest reasons why I'm like streaming again. I was kind of working my ass off with the vlogs and stuff like that before, but yeah, him and Rad, bro. Rad kind of gave me an opportunity when not really many other people would. Also, the Agent house is just growing, bro. Everyone wants to do what we're doing. Like, it's I've never been in a position other than when I'm winning or tournaments or top 2 tournaments where everyone kind of wants to do what you're doing. But like the behind the scenes talks that we have, bro, Dignitas, everyone, people want to replicate the vlogs. Dude, the amount of cameras I'm going to see out of people this weekend at DreamHack are probably going to be insane just because they want to replicate what we're doing. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. I think me, Buck, Pete, Pilot, even Mega, Ocus, but I think the 4 of us have just crazy personalities when it comes to stuff, and we're able to create good content. Then you throw Mega, Ocus, even Derek. I don't know if I can say his name on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, I think
you throw all of them in too, bro. It just adds a bunch to the mix. And Brad. Sorry, Brad as well. Brad has one of the best. Dude, I knew I was forgetting someone. Oh my god, that's so bad that I left Rad out. The one person, bro. No, Rad as well. Sorry, this has to go in if that's going in. But Rad as well, bro. Rad is my my life savior right now, bro. Great man, extremely intelligent. Sorry to cut you off. Extremely intelligent, bro. He's also working his off. I respect everything he does. I respect everything he's doing. Everything he does for me, Buck, Pete, Mega, Pilot, Ocus, Derek, all of us, bro. I respect the hell out of him, bro. But I think we have just great personalities among the house, bro, to create good content and better each other, better ourselves, and push each other, bro.